Hello and welcome to today's Back to Basics show. I'm Rico Burton, your AARP Arizona volunteer host, and I'm thrilled to have you here with us. AARP is the nation's largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization committed to empowering people age 50 and older to live a life on their own terms. With a strong presence across the country, AARP works to strengthen communities and advocate for what matters most to more than 100 million Americans and their families. Things like health security, financial security, and personal fulfillment. You may also know us from our widely read publications, AARP the magazine and AARP Bulletin, which reach more readers than any other publication in the United States. Today, throughout the nation, we are going to dive into a topic that's top of mind for many, and that's brain health and nutrition. According to AARP's Healthy Eating and Brain Health Report, most adults over 50 recognize the importance of brain health and feel confident about improving their eating habits. But despite good intentions, many face barriers like cost, sustainability, and a lack of practical tools. That's why during August and September, AARP is spotlighting simple, actionable ways to build healthier eating habits. We'll be sharing resources designed to support brain health, including the Brain Health Resource Center, Staying Sharp, and AARP Personalized Nutrition. These tools are here to help you make smarter, brain friendly food choices without all the guesswork. Again, we thank you for tuning in. Today, we are pre recorded, but please feel free to leave your questions for Coach SheriAnne, and she will respond to you. She is going to share some wonderful information with us that goes along with the national initiative about brain health, and that is the importance of sleep. Let's get back to basics. Coach, how are you today?
Good, Lady B. Thank you so much for being here. But yeah, brain health is really important. And one of the biggest things that helps with brain health, believe it or not, is sleep. And it's one of those things that we take for granted. Like I've talked about breathing, we take breathing for granted. But sleep is one of those things that you absolutely have to have good sleep. But like, what is good sleep? And why is sleep so important? And so one of the questions, that I always ask people is, how well did you sleep last night? So how well did you sleep, Lady B?
Mm,
So mo I don't know if there's something wrong with your sound because I didn't hear anything you said. I saw your mouth moving, but
Here we
so
go.
maybe
Here we go. I was
oh, there
muted.
we
I apologize. Here we go. I slept well last evening. Now, believe it or not, it was an off and on kind of sleep. My sleep pattern is a little off kilter, but the sleep that I did get, I do feel rested. I don't know if that counts.
it does. And did you dream last night? Did you remember dreaming?
Oh, I haven't in a long time.
And that's okay. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. People are always like, is that a bad thing or is that a good thing? I'm like, it doesn't really mean anything other than if you remember your dreams, you typically wake up right after your REM cycle because there's 4 stages to sleep. And so usually if you're remembering your dreams, you're either waking up right in the middle of REM or right after REM because that's when our dreams are very, very vivid. So much so that our parasympathetic system goes into a paralyzed mode so that we don't act out our dreams. 'Cause that could be dangerous for some people. So, but yeah, so if you do or you don't remember your dreams, it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just always, I'm just curious because, like, when people wake up right after REM, they have a tendency to remember your dreams a little bit more vividly. And when people also, like you said, like my sleep cycle is a little weird, but last night I got good sleep. I always ask, like, well, why is your cycle weird? Is it because of vacationing? Is it because of work schedule? Is it because you're sick? Is it something out of your control or is it something that you're trying new? So for you, what is the case?
All of the above.
Okay.
I think really more than anything is my what I started to do is whenever I wake up, I used to just pray and go back to sleep. But now
Mm,
whenever I wake up, I'm like, I must have awakened for a reason. So I'll get up and work. And then, you
Mm,
work 2 or 3 hours if I get up at 1 o'clock, and then I may have to teach a morning class. And see, that's not good, right? And so I'm like, well, I'm up, I'm awake, let me just do what I can do. There must be a reason. So I need to figure out a way to just really find, to sleep at night versus just
mhm.
waking up.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up because that's actually a common occurrence for most people. So, 2 out of 3 Americans are chronically sleep deprived, which is terrifying. Like when you think about all of the host of things that can go wrong with sleep deprivation. And so, if you're like I'm sleep deprived, you're not alone. And so I'm going to give you some tips today to help with the sleep deprivation. And one of them is, when you wake up in the middle of the night, you should before you go to sleep, or if you're a chronic in the middle night wake upper, I always say to people, like, have a strategy in place so that when you do wake up, you know how to handle it. And the first thing I address is like, if you are questioning how long you've been asleep, you've probably been asleep long enough, probably, not always. But most Americans, we recommend as adults, need 7 hours of sleep. That's usually on average like what you need to just be operational and healthy. Now, if you're younger than 20, it just from 20 to birth, it just increases. Like as all look at a baby. They sleep probably 20 hours a day, but they need it because there's just so much happening in their bodies. But as adults, really all we need is about 7 hours. So, but if you're waking up before 6 hours, it's like it's questionable. Like if you hit the 6 hour mark, yeah, get up and run. If you're waking up at the 5 hour mark, it's even then questionable. But anything prior to that, my philosophy is only get out of bed if you're feeling very anxious or if you have to urinate. But otherwise, have certain things that you can do, whether it be a breathing exercise or I really try to encourage people not to have their phones in their room, but so many people these days use their phones as either their alarm clock or just their clock in general. And it's a safety net for people. They just like having their phone close by. But if you can dock it somewhere else, dock it somewhere else. But if you are a phone user and you want it close by, then one of the things that you should have on your phone like is a Calm app, and it's called Calm, and you can have pre-programmed mellow music to play for you, or you can have it start reading you like a nighttime adult bedtime story just to help get you back into slumber and get back into sleep. But my thing is try not to turn on your phone, try not to turn on any lights, just do breathing exercises. And if you have to turn on a light, what we do in my house, and most people are like, what? Is we have red lights. So at nighttime, all of our white lights shift to red when it's bedtime and they start red. And the reason for that is because we're naturally supposed to rise and sleep with the sun, but artificial light has completely changed that for everyone. And so it, and plus, if in the middle of the night you turn on a white light, boom, your brain's like, oh, it's daytime, let's go, it's ready, let's roll. But if it's not, using red light does not impact that at all. You can still see very clearly, uh, but it just helps your brain stay nighttime. But
You
having a
mentioned
strategy in
calm.
place, what's that?
You mentioned calm, and it makes me think about Matthew McConaughey. He's on
His
calm.
his voice
You
is
can
very
sleep with
soothing for
Matthew
people.
McConaughey. Yes.
Hey, if
He
that's going
can.
to help you mellow back out and get back into a slumber, by all means, go for it. But if
Right.
you feel like
Right.
you need to get out of bed because you're feeling anxious, then choose a mundane task, whether it's folding laundry or, do something that's really methodical that's just going to help you stay not ready to go for the day. But it's hard for a lot of people. Once they wake up and their brain starts running, it's like, how do I shut the gerbil off? The hamster wheel. And when for me, it's happened, but not very often because I've really trained my brain. Like as soon as I can feel it starting, I'm like, nope. And I'll just go through, a mantra and a breathing exercise, and I really focus on a very long exhale, and pretty soon I can just feel myself just sink back into slumber. So find what works for you if you wake up in the middle of the night, because the problem with sleep deprivation, let's dive into this, is it's going to cause a whole host of problems. It's going to create dementia. A lot of people that are sleep deprived have a tendency to be more depressed and have mood disorders. You have a hard time really just coping in general because you're just tired. Your ability to learn and have memory problems, ability to learn dissipates, and then having memory problems increases. People with sleep deprivation have a higher chance of heart disease, higher blood pressure typically. So there's a whole host of problems that are happening with sleep deprivation. And most people that are sleep deprived are also heavier because they have a tendency to get up and eat. But also, when you're sleep deprived, your hormones are out of whack. And our hormones, they help manage our weight. And so there's just a whole host of problems. Like sleep is like paramount. And for me, it's a non-negotiable. Like, and my kids know it. It's like, when my daughter, because my daughter's and she's 22, when she comes over and hangs out, she's like, I got to make sure I get over here earlier because I know you're going to bed because I get up so early and I want my 7 hours. Um, and the other thing I always encourage people, like if you're unsure about how much sleep your body needs, because everyone's different, is go to bed at a reasonable time. Do not set an alarm and see what time you wake up. And do it on a consistent basis. You can't just do one off day and decide like,
Right.
oh, I need only 6 hours of sleep. But do it like for a week straight. Go to bed at a reasonable time and just wake up when your body decides it wants to wake up. And you'll know. And I've done that enough to where like I know like my happy place is it's like 7 hours and like 10 minutes. And it's perfect. And I love it because if I make sure I'm in bed early enough, I don't even need to set an alarm. My body kind of wakes up and I wake up gently because waking up to alarm, I don't know about you, Lady B, but I do not like it. I hate waking up to an alarm.
It can be jarring,
I,
you know.
I even have music. I don't even have a jarring like alarm. Mine is very, very mellow. It's music. I wake up to very mellow music. But even then I'm like, wait, 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 wait. I am not ready. I'm not ready.
Most people most people that have alarms aren't ready, but unfortunately or fortunately, I guess we should all be glad to have a job. It is nice to be able to have something to wake up to just to make sure you're not late.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. 100%. But in understanding why alarms are so jarring is because we have four sleep stages that we have. And so when you are awakened in the middle of a sleep cycle, that's what's so jarring because we're naturally supposed to come out of sleep, and come to our awake stage after REM because our awake stage and like light sleep is like stage one, and then we go into light stage, which is where we spend most of the evening. Then we dip into deep, which is usually most happens the most early on in the evening, because sometimes people can go from awake, light, straight to REM. But usually we go awake, light, deep sleep, which we don't spend much time in deep sleep actually. And then we go into REM. And then REM, we kind of spend about the same amount of time between light and REM is which was natural. That's a healthy sleep cycle. And then REM is when we're filing memories, having our dreams, and our brain is like actually going through a wash method. And it does your whole brain actually washes itself, files things, cleans itself. And it's really, really important because it's the other thing that happens also when we're sleeping is you're replenishing yourself from brain to heart to your whole body. Your immune system goes through a full flush. Your metabolism is working the way it's supposed to work, and our liver's doing what it needs to do to cleanse. Tissues heal. Like if you have an injury, that's the best opportunity for your body to heal. So there's so much that happens when we're sleeping, and if people could understand that, then they would, I think, cherish it and honor it a little bit more, because we're so busy during the day like doing what we need to do to be successful. It's like, oh, if you just understood how important that sleep was to help you be more successful, then you would honor that sleep. But like I said earlier, like people have wear this badge of honor, like they can survive on 4 hours of sleep. And I'm like, not for long. Yeah, you can, but your adrenals are going to fail. You're going to end up with a chronic disease. Like there's so, because your body eventually will be like, I can't do this anymore. I just can't. And something's going to give, and so don't, if you find yourself wearing that badge of honor, like I can function on 3 to 4 hours of sleep, just know that eventually it will catch up to you. It just will.
And usually when that happens, you crash and you
Hmm.
just have to go to sleep and, no matter what. So let me ask you a question. I know you want to get to your actual tips, but does it matter if I sleep, like take a nap in the afternoon? Maybe that's one of the reasons my sleep is off, because I may go to sleep when I'm sleepy. So if I've been up way early in the morning and now 2 o'clock comes, maybe I take a nap until 5. I don't know if that's a nap or not. Right? And then stay up. So can you sleep like that and it's be okay, or does it have to be continual?
That's a great question, and I get that question quite frequently. So the my rule with naps, and you're not alone, like over 50% of Americans take a nap or feel like they absolutely need to take a nap during the day. And if you need to, like, and there's been times when I have, I do set my timer for 22 minutes because it'll take me about 2 minutes to kind of like soak into it. And then I sleep for 20 minutes and then I'll come out of it. And that way I don't do a full sleep cycle. I get just enough to just give me some restitution and feeling a little bit better and feeling a little more revived. Because the problem with long naps is if you don't, everyone doesn't know how long their full sleep cycle is. And if you hit that deep in REM and then you wake yourself up out of it, then it's jarring. And then also, if you do a full sleep cycle, which typically on most people is about 90 minutes, um, it your body is thinking, because when you do a full sleep cycle, we're designed to do a full sleep cycle, and then we usually do somewhere between 2 and 4 full sleep cycles, depending upon how your sleep cycles run. Um, but once you hit a full sleep cycle, your body like is wanting to go into another one, and then you're waking it up. So usually, if you're doing a longer than a 20-minute power nap, your brain is like, wait a minute, like I'm supposed to be asleep still, like if you've gone longer than that, like, and it wants to stay asleep, and then you're groggy, and then when you finally do go to sleep at night, your body's just kind of a little out of whack. So I encourage people, like, if you're wanting to do a nap, avoid long naps. Stick to like 20 to 25 minute power nap.
Wow.
It'll make a
Okay.
big difference.
Thanks.
I know you're like, I don't know that I like that advice, but okay.
No, no, I've got to think about that. It just seems like such a short time, and I know people do it. I don't know that I power nap like that, but I'm certainly going to try it. I appreciate the information. Thank you.
Yeah. It's, like I said, I set mine for 22 because I know it's going to take me 2 minutes of breathing to lower my heart rate, because I'll breathe very slow, long exhale to get my heart rate down, and then I'll be out. But I only do naps like if I'm super tired, like I'm like I can't. I've been at the computer too long, or something's been going on, and 20 minutes power nap, and then I wake up and I'm like, okay, let's go, and
Wow.
it doesn't
Okay.
impact my nighttime sleep. So that's tip number one is avoid long naps. If you're gonna do a nap, keep it short, power nap. And tip number two is have a bedtime ritual. Try not to be a night owl. It really affects your ability to get into REM. Because people that have a tendency to stay up super late never really dip into that REM very well. They're just barely scratching the surface of it. And what I have invested in a few years ago was an Aura ring, and it's spelled OURA. And it monitors my whole sleep at night, my breathing, my heart rate, which sleep stage I'm in, how long I'm in each stage, my latency, how long it takes me to actually get to sleep. And it's a nice little tool to have, because depending upon what's gone on in the day and I've journaled, if I wake up and I look at my Aura ring, my score for the day or the night, if it's off, I'm like, okay, let me go back and look and see what happened during the day and see why and how that was impacted. And really stick to a routine. Like here I said, in my house, we go to red lights, and it really helps with just letting the brain know, hey, it's nighttime, it's time to go to sleep, time to go to bed. Um, so having a ritual really, really helps with sleeping, whether it's doing breathing or meditation right before you go to bed, reading, journaling, anything that you like to do, but have it be the same so that your brain and your body knows, like, okay, we're headed there. We do it for our children when we're raising kids. I mean, think about how much of a routine we create around children for their bedtime routine. And then as adults, we totally throw it out the window. It's like, no, 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 no. You need it just as much as that kid does.
Okay.
So, so honor it. Tip number 3 is to make sure that you're getting vitamin D. Vitamin D deficiency impacts sleep massively so. And believe it or not, here in Arizona, even though we are sunny, 360 days a year, people here in Arizona are vitamin D deficient because they stay inside because it's so hot, or they're wearing sunscreen or sun protective clothing and they're not getting the sun. And so I really encourage people to get 10, actually more like 15 to 20 minutes of exposed sun on your skin. That is not going to cause sun damage. You need that vitamin D. Yes, you can take a vitamin D supplement, but it's just not going to be as effective as getting it straight from the sun. But if you can get your vitamin D, how I tell people is rise with the sun. Go out and get your morning sunlight. The sun is not super high, it's on the horizon, but you're still going to get that vitamin D, but you're not going to get those intense UV rays. So get that vitamin D, morning sun, start that circadian rhythm, get it going. But that will make a massive difference if you can get your morning sunlight. Tip number 4 is to exercise daily. And it doesn't matter what kind of exercise. I don't care if you're walking stairs, if you're going to a dance class, if you're in a pool, if you're just walking your neighborhood and walking your dog. Do something physical and do it regularly. Try to do it daily. And doing that just allows your body the opportunity to be slightly exhausted. And it doesn't have to be strenuous exercise, but exercise daily. It'll make a massive, massive difference. So tip number 5 is to sleep in a cool, quiet, and dark place. And when I say cool, the temperature I'm going to give you, but most of you are going to be like, that's not possible. It's ideally isn't 60 to 67 degrees. My house is not that. I can't afford that here in Arizona. Or my APS bill would be more than my mortgage if I did that. So, but try to have it as cool as possible. What your pocketbook can manage. The cooler, the better. We sleep better when it's cooler for some reason. Our bodies, when we're warm, we breathe more. It's just not as comfortable. So have it be cool. Have it be quiet, have minimal distractions and noises. And if you want a noise machine, do a noise machine or run a fan in your room to help drown out other sounds, and have it be as dark as possible. Try not to have any electronics in your room that emit any kind of light, because even when something's off, it's still going to emit like a little red light or like some type of light. So try to minimize as much as you can as far as electronics go in your room. And if you want them in your room, you can get um, electrical tape, and like I use a hole puncher. So it's just a tiny little black dot, and I just put it over the light that gets emitted from anything that might be emitting. So try to cover it if you can. Pitch black.
My
Get blackout
daughter
curtains.
purchased a mattress, a Tempur-Pedic mattress that is their cooling mattress. It's expensive, but it works.
Yes. It's those are so popular. They even make mattresses now where you can have it split down the middle in the sense of like you can control the softness, or the firmness of your side versus your partner
Right.
that might want a firmer. But the cooling mattresses, yes, absolutely. They're so popular now. But they are an investment. And what I tell people is it's an investment in your health and it's an investment in your sleep, which is going to help everything. So just you have to look at it like that. Next tip is to mind your electronics. Like I've already said, like keep it, try to monitor how much you're on your phone or on your computer before you go to bed because it emits a blue wavelength, which stimulates the brain. So be careful and mind your electronics and really keep tabs on how late you are on them. Also, as everyone always knows, avoid your caffeine late in the day. Do not get caffeine late in the day. It's a stimulant. Whether people are like, it doesn't affect me. I'm like, I disagree. It does. And your alcohol. Mind your alcohol. Avoid alcohol also like later in the evenings. I know people like to go for happy hour or, people call for a nightcap. The thing is like the alcohol is going to make you sleepy immediately, but the sugar in the alcohol is what's going to keep you awake. So people are like, alcohol makes me tired. I'm like, initially it does. It's a depressant. However, the sugar in it is going to keep you awake throughout the night. So just mind your alcohol also. The last thing you got to mind is your medicines. So mind your medicines. Pay attention to what, if your doctor has prescribed something for you that could potentially impact your sleep, talk to your doctor and find out if you can take that earlier on in the day, if they prescribed it for an evening med, so that you can sleep better. And most doctors are really understanding about that, or they'll even educate you in the front side, like take this early in the day so it doesn't impact your sleep. But know that if you're taking cold medicine, sometimes cold medicines can have stimulants in them. And sometimes even antidepressants can have stimulants in them. So if you're taking an antidepressant, try taking it earlier in the day. So mind your medicines because those will keep you awake as well. And boom, just like that, we're all for like at 30 minutes. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So the other thing I really want to encourage people is to pay attention to if you're taking melatonin to help go to sleep. I encourage people not to take that on a regular basis because that is a hormone that we produce in our pineal gland, which is in our brain. So we produce our own melatonin. When we start taking melatonin, it impacts our own body's ability to, because it's like, oh, you're taking it, I don't need to make it. So just be aware that if you're taking it on a consistent basis every day, you're impacting your body's ability to produce it. And because it doesn't need to, it's a supply and demand hormone. So if you're not demanding it, because you're already supplying it, it's not going to do it itself. But melatonin naturally is a sleep hormone that we secrete at nighttime. And then in the morning, it stops making itself, and then we start making cortisol to wake ourselves up. So if you're taking synthetic hormones, just be aware that that's going to impact your own body's ability to produce itself.
Thought that that is not habit forming, and that because it's natural, you could do that every day. That's not true.
You can. It's not habit forming. That is absolutely correct. However, if you're doing it every day, then your body's not making its own melatonin. So you're just going to have to keep taking it, and so we really want our bodies to be able to make it ourselves. And so, yeah, you're right. It's not habit forming. There's not a dependency on it, but it is impacting your body's ability to make it itself. It's not like you're double dosing, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And there's
Hmm.
other things that you can do to help sleep. Chamomile tea, if you want to take some magnesium, like magnesium is really popular for helping people sleep. It metabolizes your energy and it helps synthesize neurotransmitters in the brain. We need magnesium, all the time, and people actually don't get enough magnesium. So, I mean, there's things that you can do. You can do lavender oil. That's a really soothing scent for people. Um, but yeah, I find people to doing a chamomile tea or a passion flower tea at nighttime really helps just kind of calm them and help them understand like their body's like, let's go. It's time to go.
A
Time to go to
nice
bed.
bath is wonderful too. And
Hmm.
there's a sleep spray. There's a spray you can put on your pillows that are supposed to help you sleep better. Are you familiar with
Yep.
those?
Yes. I mean, it's usually a lavender scent, believe it or not. But yeah, it's just that's part of the routine that people can create to help themselves know for their brain to know, okay, it's time to mellow out, it's time to shut things down, it's time to, go into restoration. Because that's really what it is we really want to head into restoration. Because if you're burning the candle at both ends all the time, you're going to get to a point where there's no wax left and no wick left. So you got to go into restoration.
Thank you so much. You have shared some wonderful information with us, and we look forward to the next time we're together. What's our topic next time?
We are talking about breath, which is the other thing that I said that people take it for granted. Like it's so important to know and understand why we breathe and what happens when we're breathing. So, yep,
Right.
I'll
And
be
that
talking about
that
breath.
just goes right along with sleep too, because some of us have sleep apnea and think about the CPAP machines and all the rest, which is not very attractive, honey, if you're trying to date somebody. So learning how to
Excuse
breathe
me,
and
honey.
getting your sleep under control is going to be a good thing. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for joining us today and for watching this. Again, if you have any comments or questions, leave them for Coach SheriAnne and she will get back to you. We look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, take care and God bless.